We already went over the main story and the true ending of the game in the previous video, also covering the first 10 or 11 endings. In here, we will continue on directly from where we left off. If you haven't watched the last video, I highly recommend you to do so, as we will immediately continue from the 11th ending. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator, and welcome to Do Not Take This Cat Home, all endings, which happens to be anything but a cat, which is more like a symbolic representation of trauma and toxic relationships. On the last video, we left off on the 10th ending. The game follows the story of Anahita, a lonely person who struggles making connections with people. She lives alone in her one-bedroom apartment and barely spends time outside. She goes to work and stays home. One day, when she decides to finally leave the house and go for a walk, she hears the cries of a cat in an alley, abandoned inside a box. She decides to take the cat home just for a day until she gives it to a shelter, when the surreal events start unraveling, with the cat being anything but a normal cute little friendly cat. After taking the cat home, this time around deciding to play with the cat, Anahita considers how pets at times are overlooked as toys, being left home for hours on end, not having anyone to take care of them, and how this poor cat specifically was abandoned in a box just watching people pass by. Of course, from the last video, we already know this cat is anything but a nice little humble cat. But an amnesiac Anna cannot remember the past time loops. Using a piece of yarn thread, dangling around and playing with the cat, it lunges at Anna and rips her stomach open, this emboweling her. Anna is shocked, coughing out blood, not understanding what happened until she looks down in horror. The cat seems happy and content for finally catching the piece of yarn, but unfortunately for Anna, it's her last time ever playing, blacking out. The loop resets, Anna finds the cat in the box in the alley, takes it home and decides to play with it again, this time around using her laser pointer. The game starts off fun, with Anna enjoying herself making the cat run around for the red dot. That's until the cat breaks a lamp and soon becomes agitated. It starts tearing at every furniture and eventually transforms into a large savage beast. Seeing how out of control this monstrous beast is, destroying everything in its way, Anna tries to run away through the door, but she notices that it's locked. The beast lunges at her and kills her in a few slashes. Anna blacks out and repeats the loop again. Anna is back in the apartment, this time intending to play hide and seek with the cat. The game of hide and seek starts off fun, with Anna at times jumping out of hiding and spooking the cat. That's when eventually the cat stays still in seriousness and doesn't move. As Anna starts worrying about the cat, trying to go to it and check if it's alright, an overwhelming feeling of imminent doom overtakes her. She feels as if she needs to run and hide, and this time not for fun, but to save her life, for instinctual survival. She hides and feels as if she's being hunted as a prey by a predator. That's when the cat finds Anna hiding in the closet, looking at her with its piercing gaze when Anna eventually blacks out. The loop resets and Anna decides to give the cat a bath. The cat is dirty, and not surprisingly so, as being in the pouring rain in the alley, placed inside a box. Placing the cat inside the filled bathtub, a black liquid starts to overtake the soapy water. Worried for the cat, she dunks her hands under the water when something pulls on her hands, tugging on them and pulling her in. She gets submerged in the murky waters of the tub, sinking deeper and deeper, as if she has teleported into a dark sea. The cat, being an underwater monster now, pulls Anna deep into the water and she drowns. This time around, Anna tries to shower the cat in the sink and be gentle and slow. She then tries to brush the cat when the cat hair starts sticking to Anna's hands, as if being sharp spikes digging into her body, overtaking her. As she tries to pull the fur out, she feels pain as if they are part of her. The fur starts growing on her body, the face, the back, the tongue, the eyes. As if not being painful enough, the hair starts growing inside her throat, slowly and painfully suffocating her, while poking inside her sensitive organs. Anna cannot breathe and feels excruciating pain. She eventually collapses and loses her life, while the cat jumps on Anna's body and grooms her newly grown fur. That is the last thing that she sees and feels. Resetting the loop, Anna is back in the alley. This time around, having tried all the options inside the apartment after taking the cat home, Anna decides not to take the cat home. This feels as if she could escape the time loop, but we would not be any more wrong. As soon as Anna took the cat home the first time around, she already made an unknown agreement to be trapped by the cat. Anna, feeling bad for the cat, yet knowing she can't really take care of it now, moves on, deciding to go to the old theater. Walking through the charming halls of the old theater, she buys tickets to a movie. Sitting in the middle of the seat, in the completely empty theater room, Anna is happy that she has the entire theater to herself, but soon, someone comes into the room. She feels a little disappointed, but knows it's a public establishment after all. That's when she sees how this tall stranger decides to sit right in front of her, of all places. He has a fedora and is unusually tall, almost fully blocking her view. This in a way baffles her and frustrates her. Trying to move or confront the stranger, it turns its head, revealing its face to be paranormal, having a face that shouldn't exist, glowing white eyes and a large, unnatural smile. It lets out unnatural sounds which makes Anna shiver and shake uncontrollably, doing the only thing she can, running away out of the theater. As she runs out, she sees the man standing behind the clear glass of the old theater, staring at Anna while he holds the cat in his arm, cradling it. That's when, being distracted, unaware of her surroundings, she hears the honks of a speeding truck, realizing that she's in the middle of the road when the truck hits her, making her lose her life and repeat the loop. This time around, after refusing to take the cat home, Anna decides to go to the cinema. After waiting in a long line to get her ticket, she looks around, seeing how there are families, couples and friends, feeling a little insecure for being alone watching the movie. In the overcrowded cinema, she finally manages to find an empty seat far from the screen. The trailers and advertisings come to an end when, in a flash, the image of the black cat appears on the screen. Anna, finding this bizarre, seeing how the cat is making strange sounds, she feels frustrated, wanting to go and speak to the staff. That's when she is horrified to see the audience and the people in the cinema chant along with the cat, as if being manipulated and controlled or being in the middle of a cult ritual. Anna, horrified, feels a strong urge and pull towards the screen and feels being enchanted to chant along. The crowd then turns their gazes to Anna, slowly frowning and being outraged by Anna that she doesn't chant along with them. She feels terrified and decides to leave. The crowd suddenly stops chanting, including the cat on the screen, with the crowd staring sharply at Anna with scrutiny. She leaves, feeling a short relief. She reaches the lobby when she notices that everyone is glaring at her, even angrier than before. She runs. People outside are staring at her, looking disgusted, having hatred and judgment against Anna. She's confused yet scared, just wanting to run back home. She feels the weight of their stare when eventually she manages to get back home, locking the door behind her, collapsing on the floor. She tries to fall asleep and never leave the apartment, just to have nightmares of people staring at her. This ending is known as Black Sheep, and many can possibly relate when being alone and doing activities alone, on how they might be under severe scrutiny. They have to carry the sheer weight of people's stares and judgment, which at times might not even be real, but could be originating from one's anxiety. The loop resets and Anna is back at the cinema. This time, instead of standing and leaving when people are chanting, Anna chants along to fit in. The audience turn their gaze back at the screen, dismissing Anna. Anna chanting along, feeling stuck that moving out now would make her stand out. She feels gravitated towards the screen, not able to look away. She cannot even move anymore, with her mind starting to become numb. She chants along uncontrollably when, from her side vision, she sees how an audience member starts sinking deeper and deeper into their chair, eventually deflating and melting. They eventually disintegrate and disappear. She becomes horrified, but cannot stop herself, knowing this is what will become of her. Despite being scared, her mind is numb and doesn't feel so bad anymore. She then decides something strange, a black cat emerging from the mouth of one of the deflated audience members. More and more kittens emerge from the mouths of the deflated bodies. Anna feels herself deflating and sinking into the chair when eventually she blacks out. This time around, looping back again from the beginning, Anna decides to go to the local carnival. After taking some rides, Anna decides to go to the new mirror maze. She just wanted to head back home, but when she steps into the maze, she sees the entry disappeared, being completely trapped. She panics a little but tries to recollect herself and find the exit. The lights suddenly turn off and a strange sound announces the maze and instructs Anna. Images of the cat appear on the mirrors whom the announcer claims to be the way out by following them. The announcer explains that there would be other guests who would be hostile, who need to be avoided. There are horrifying monsters as guests, beings who are hostile. Managing to win and follow the cat, seeing the exit, Anna walks towards it when she passes through a mirror. She enters a white void where Anna sees hundreds of clones of herself who are listless and absent-minded. Anna tries to go back. The glass is solid and doesn't let through when it slowly disappears, with the cat being seen. Anna is trapped forever in this void until she blacks out. Failing the maze, something more horrifying even happens. The lights turn back on when Anna sees she's being surrounded by mirrors. Her reflection shows horrifying monsters who are hungry. Anna is terrified yet trapped in the maze. As she bumps into a mirror, a hand emerges out, pulling Anna, taking a bite out of her. Hungry monsters with sharp teeth emerge out, all wanting a piece of Anna. She slowly gets devoured and loses her life. After this painful death, Anna repeats the loop once again. Repeating the loop, Anna decides to go to the dog park and play with some of these cute canines. Maybe even she could talk to some actual people and make friends. Just then, a weird intrusive thought takes over her mind that she shouldn't play with these disgusting mutts, and doesn't know why that thought took over her. Regardless, she goes to the dog park when all of a sudden a cute puppy comes to her, staring at her, clearly wanting to play. Only a handful of options appear, which are all violent acts against the dog, with the final one being the option to pick up the dog, the only non-violent yet weird response. Anna doesn't seem to be good with interactions, but at the same time, it seems as if her actions and options are controlled and she cannot choose for herself. It's possibly the cat controlling her mind, giving her limited bad options. As discussed in the previous video, the cat could be the representation of anxiety, trauma, and environmental insecurity. So maybe she cannot choose or has bad thoughts due to those previous bad experiences and the toxic relationship that she had. She does the only non-violent thing, picking the dog up when things become surreal. The dog jump scares Anna, looking demonic, when she suddenly puts the dog down. The owner, worried about their dog, rushes towards them to save it from Anna, being surprised to what she is doing. Anna walks away as fast as she can without uttering a word, feeling embarrassed and scared. A strong, overwhelming thought overtakes her to leave the park, but she chooses to stay. She looks over at the happy running dogs, who all look wrong and deformed. That's when the cat reveals itself, depicting how it is jealous and that Anna should have stayed with it rather than going to the dogs. It's clear the cat is manipulating the situation and trying to force Anna not to make any friends with the dogs. That's when the world shifts into a surreal realm with the sun covered and the dogs melting into piles of goo, with their owners gone, just their clothes remaining behind. The goo combines together, creating a behemoth of a dog creature. It lunges at Anna and ends her life. She hears the words of the cat, that it warned it. The ending is called Dog Person, which makes the cat jealous, as it wants Anna to be a cat person. Anna repeats the loop, and this time around, after some consideration, goes back to the cat and decides to stay with it, at least for a while. Anna breaks down crying when contemplating how lonely she is and how she doesn't have confidence in herself, when strangely, the cat uses its paws to wipe her tears away. Anna talks and talks for hours that she doesn't even notice that the concrete walls of the alley are turning into flesh. Slowly, the flesh consumes and engulfs both Anna and the cat. Something that she doesn't mind that much, as she feels that she is heard and listened to, being content. This time around, repeating the same loop, finally choosing to leave the cat, she contemplates why she wouldn't want to take it home, when a strange feeling runs shivers down her spine that she cannot trust this cat for some reason. This feeling tells Anna to get away, that this cat is dangerous. She pulls herself away from the cat after this uncontrollable feeling, when the loop repeats again, with the activities that she chose to do before becoming even more distorted. She decides to go watch a movie, buying a ticket in the old theater, when all of a sudden she blacks out and finds herself back in the alley next to the cat. This time around, she remembers and doesn't forget the loop, like before. She runs away and decides to go to the cinema. Yet again, her vision glitches and she finds herself back to the cat. She runs with all her will again and goes to the carnival. Yet again, she blacks out and finds herself back in the alley right next to the cat. The cat starts deforming and distorting, becoming more terrifying to look at. She runs to the dog park. Yet again, she teleports back to the alley. She is trapped, with nowhere to run. The cat is horrifying. She feels sick and vulnerable. She runs to her apartment, managing to go to her bedroom, feeling a short respite before she blacks out and finds herself back to the cat again. Anna can't hold herself from breaking down. As she tries to run from this monstrous cat, the alleyway gets longer and starts to shrink and tighten. It slowly becomes a void, with Anna feeling the warmth and teeth pressing against her when she dies yet again in a painful manner. Repeating the loop, Anna tries to feed the cat. She finds a chocolate bar in her pocket and decides to feed it to the cat. That's when a shocking realization hits her that chocolates are toxic to cats and also dogs. The guilt takes over her, feeling like a bad person, even insulting herself. To redeem herself, she goes to a nearby shop and buys an expensive fish to give it to the cat. This guilt becomes crippling as more and more cats start appearing as she tries to head home, glaring at her with judgment and scrutiny, with Anna feeling that she almost killed a cat. Just about to reach her apartment, a crowd of cats stand in her way, with one bringing the chocolate bar to her that she disposed of back in the alley. Anna cannot take the guilt anymore. She bows down as low as she can and begs for forgiveness. That's when she feels something choking her. She gags and throws up a living fish. The cat starts eating it, and Anna feels more and more fish blocking her throat, which she vomits out. She starts feeling sick, suffocating, feeling sore. When she is blacking out, she feels joy and a sense of relief that at least in her death, she is feeding the cats, being an atonement for her crime. This time around, instead of asking for forgiveness, she tries to dismiss the crowd of cats and go to her apartment. Despite leaving, she feels an overwhelming sense of guilt. Anna decides to take a bath when she sees herself slowly transforming into an actual fish. She then becomes cat food, with dozens of cats devouring her while she feels every single bite. This is her atonement for forgetting herself and almost feeding a cat chocolate and not being able to feed the other hungry cats. This time around, instead of checking her pockets, Anna looks around to find food for the cat while being in the alley. That's when she finds a little vulnerable mouse. Despite the cat being hungry, Anna decides not to feed the mouse to the cat and spares its life. This unfortunately doesn't go well for Anna, as the cat transforms into a hungry beast and instead feasts on her than the mouse. Repeating the loop, despite the struggles of the vulnerable mouse, Anna feeds it to the cat. She is allowed a momentary respite, managing to go back to her apartment. Trying to sleep, she hears the echoes of the struggling mouse and its squeaks, which seem like agonizing screams. She wakes up, finding hundreds of mice in her room, chewing and nibbling on her feet. She cannot stand up anymore and collapses to the floor. The mice gnaw and chew small pieces off of Anna. She is helpless and cannot push the mice away, being the vulnerable prey and food right now. The mice do what she did to the mouse back in the alley, feeding it to the cat. Back in the alley, Anna gets a strong impulse of feeding the cat some blood. That's exactly what she does and feeds it some of her own blood from a small cut on her finger. As she tries to leave, the cat calls for her, slowly transforming into a demonic shape. The cat's face splits open, attacking a random stranger who walks past the alleyway. The cat creature tendrils poke into the stranger and tries to consume them. Anna, seeing the horrifying screams of the stranger, she tries her best to help them. She picks up the cat and offers herself instead, so the stranger can survive, showing the true nature of Anna and who she is, willing to sacrifice herself than let someone else die. The cat uses its tendrils to leech off Anna and suck her blood dry. On the other hand, letting the cat creature kill the stranger and suck them dry, something overtakes Anna, making her become numb to people's suffering. That's when the feeling takes over her, taking the cat in her embrace, walking out so that the cat can feast on people, being hungry so often, having a reign of terror and bloodshed, while Anna acts like its instrument, standing behind and just watching in horror. Back in the alley, Anna takes a photo of the cat here and decides to leave. As soon as she gets on her feet, she receives a text message from the cat asking if it isn't cute. Anna is feeling weird. She decides to walk fast out of the alley. She suddenly starts getting more texts from the cat, becoming a creepy stalker obsessed with her. It sends Anna more and more texts and photos, which slowly turn into threatening and horrifying images, repeatedly telling her to get back to it. She goes home, getting more and more texts, when all of a sudden, the cat stalks her home and takes her life. Repeating the loop and having a different choice, instead of checking the phone, Anna decides to ignore the phone and not look at it at all. This doesn't end much differently, as the fear and dread of what might be on the phone overwhelms Anna. She closes her eyes and the cat takes her life. Back in the alley, playing green light, red light, Anna starts getting a dreadful feeling as the cat approaches her. She feels an impending doom, as if being the prey here with a predator trying to pounce at her. The cat gets larger and transforms, who then attacks and kills her. As a variation to the last ending, Anna backs up out of the alley when the world starts glitching, with the outside world breaking as if being a video game. She is then trapped in a broke world full of glitches. This further depicts how powerful this entity is, who can do anything it wants and shift and distort the reality. Back in the alley, repeating the loop, Anna decides to buy the cat a toy. She buys a cat plushie doll, being orange colored. As Anna decides to leave the alley, she hears an electronic meow calling to her. Meow! The orange cat plushie seems to come to life. Inspecting it, the doll looks at Anna and meows at her, who suddenly becomes hostile, starting to bite into Anna with sharp teeth. The cat fully turns alive and joins the black cat, who start grooming each other while Anna passes away in the alley. As another variation, instead of inspecting the cat plushie, Anna decides to leave. She doesn't take more than a few steps when she realizes that she has transformed into a plushie herself, becoming filled with cotton. She at least seems to be the perfect toy for the cat, as it chooses to play with it, biting into her and becoming its favorite toy. Her fate is sealed in here when she finds herself as a toy accompanying the cat. Despite being a horrible fate, she seems to be content to live the eternity with the cat like that. Back in the alley, Anna has a final choice: to kill the cat. She somehow remembers what has been going on, feeling the cat is a monster, so she picks up a broken piece of glass shard and finishes the job. As she tries to leave, going out of the alley, it just happens to be a dark void with nothing else. That's when the cat attacks Anna and kills her again, explaining that cats have 9 lives. These are all the other endings that we can achieve, apart from those I covered in the first video. We later learn that the cat represents the pain and trauma Anna suffers from after being abandoned by her parents. That's the day that she finds it, the cat. It, being the cat, is the symbolic representation of pain, trauma, and toxic relationships. She reveals no matter what or how many times, a toxic and abusive relationship can never be restored or fixed. No matter how many loops Anna goes through or how many different things she tries, the cat, or it, always takes her life and traumatizes her. It feeds on misery and pain and doesn't let Anna be free. At the end, when Anna feels broken and lost, it feeds on her, placing her inside the void and darkness, like many before her, until she realizes that she has a choice to move on. That's when this monster becomes a vulnerable, pathetic goo. It begs and begs, trying to manipulate Anna, but she moves on, even though it is difficult at first. And that is it for this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, make sure to stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.